All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in for a unit breakdown of Iden Versio. She is fantastic and probably my absolute favorite non-force using commander in Empire. I mean, I love her, period, just probably out of everyone right now. There's so much to her, and I've been using it for a while that she, along with the Inferno Squad, are a super killer duo. I'll go ahead and talk about a little bit this video, and I'll kind of break down a lot of benefits and kind of what I would put together and how I'd use her and how she can be used and all the benefits that she has and stuff like that. You won't talk about it. But if you haven't already, go ahead and head to theburnacademy.com for $15 subscriptions to get 12-week hypertrophy and weight loss programs, my personal workouts, at-home workouts, coaching videos, example meal plans, everything you need to get in the gym on your own and do things that, I've already laid out so you don't have to think about it and help you lose weight or gain more muscle. And if you haven't already, go ahead and head to, the Discord right over here and, join in on the list building stuff. We've had someone ask, about a 500 point skirmish list with Iden and a bunch of other stuff, and people have chimed in, and it's also great to see everyone, just talking with each other and doing a bunch of fun stuff. And also, I wound up playing, Terrain Studio or Sean Morrison from Friday Night Fights on Monday night and definitely had a blast. I wound up losing that game. It was VAPS, and I kind of spread my people out a little too thin in the back and kind of wasted 3 units not getting into the action and played against droids for the first time because I usually play against Empire or Rebels. It just has wound up being when I wound up playing against. And I'll kind of show the list that I used and explain a little bit about it. But it came down to victory points, and obviously he wound up taking out my Death Troopers, and Boba Fett wound up panicking off the board because I was a little too aggressive with him and put him in the corner next to the edge of the board. And yeah, not so great. But okay, we'll go ahead and break down Iden Versio. So Iden Versio is the Inferno Squad leader. She is a BA, and she's awesome. She's got 6 health, 3 courage. 3 is awesome. So she's really going to be able to do her job in getting in and doing what she can. She surges to hit. She's got a regular gun that's range 1 to 3 and Pierce 1. So, if you didn't want to bring her gun, which I highly recommend bringing one, you can get Pierce 1, 3 white, surge to hit. So, yeah, not that bad. But her guns are better. In advanced combat training melee, she's got 2 red. So this is really cool because if you were to put tenacity on her and one of her, trading slots, she'd have the same dice pool in melee with her ID10 droid as a dewback rider. Still suppressive, not critical 1 or anything, but yeah, it would be 3 red and 3 white with the ID10 and tenacity. And that, I feel like six dice like that and 3 red are, that's pretty strong for her to have in melee. And then maybe you could do like tenacity and offensive push if you wanted to get her in really, really close. And she's got 2 trading slots. She's got a gear slot and she's got a weapon slot. So with the gear slot, a lot of times you would probably take ascension cables to give her the scale ability for free. And then she's got a card that allows her to recover, which would allow the ascension cables to recover. So she's got a lot that is going on for her, period. And then let's go ahead and go with her keywords, which are fantastic. So quick thinking gains an aim and a dodge. So instead of having to just take an aim action, just do quick thinking to get your aim and a dodge. Because with that dodge, you've got nimble. So you'll be able to use that dodge and then bring it back, use that dodge and bring it back, which is another reason why I always and usually will staple situational awareness to her to make her even harder to kill. Because with 6 health, if you were to have situational awareness on her, it's going to be hard to kill her because she's going to be able to cancel those crits with the dodges that she's consistently keeping. And if you were to bring ID10, ID10 is a hit point right before you would take your last hit point. So that's technically giving you about 7 health. Not to mention, it already has a shield 1. So kind of giving you 8 health. And then if you were to put situational awareness where you have that dodge, oh man, she's going to be super tanky. So that's why I really love her, and being able to put situational awareness on her with ID 10, it's just super hard to kill her at some point. And you're probably going to be able to get through most, if all, of her command cards by the time that she's probably going down, unless you just too aggressive with her. I kind of make sure to put her behind some, line of sight blockers and try to then tack strike in, or at least do something where she's flanking. Now, covert ops, so when she deploys, she can treat herself as an operative, and then she gains infiltrate, which is awesome because now she can infiltrate in beyond range 3 of any enemy unit. And she's going to be now an operative, so you're not going to be able to use her courage value. And when you infiltrate with her with covert ops, you're going to have to nominate a special forces or a core unit to be your new commander. And so this is where we're going to get into why I think shores are the absolute best core unit to pair with Iden and the Inferno Squad. I mean, there's a few reasons. It's, when you have Inferno Squad, you've got Gideon, who can coordinate, and he'd be able to coordinate to a core unit only at range 1, which he could coordinate possibly to a shore trooper who will get the order and then gain a free dodge, or sorry, a free aim. So that's a free token, or a free, green token that you're looking for, which, if you can build a list to get as many free things as possible to begin with, like Shadow Collective, then by all means do it. I think with Iden Versio and Pikes and the Inferno Squad, with Retinue and with Independent, you're looking at tons of free, tokens and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like the more free things that you can start to build now in these lists, the better. Loadout. So when you deploy, you can swap any of your upgrade cards with a set aside upgrade. So if you were to have, offensive push, and maybe you were like, all right, well, maybe we don't want offensive push, or maybe you had offensive push and tenacity, and you didn't want tenacity, but you wanted Overwatch because you're probably going to keep her in the back and use her sniper rifle rather than keep her in the front, then you can do that. Ascension cables, you can go with ascension cables if you wanted to. That's probably what I would go with, and then definitely load up her gun. So we'll go ahead and take a look at her, since that was pretty much everything. We've already gone over Nimble, and then Marksman. There we go. So Marksman, so when attacking, you can dice fix, basically. You can spend an aim to improve your dice attack results. So if you've got a hit, and you got an aim, you can use that aim to turn it into a crit. Or you can just re-roll it for the two of them. So if we take a look at ID 10 real quick, it's recharge once. When you recover, you can flip an inactive shield token. You're going to have a shield token. It's small. So when determining line of sight, cover, and range, you can ignore this mini. So you can put this mini wherever you want. It's just fantastic. I think ID 10 is basically one of the best things you can have. And again, it's a melee or range 1, 3 white dice, and suppressive. So you're really looking at a really awesome upgrade to Iden, basically 2 extra hit points. Now, again, like I said, you could go with offensive push and, tenacity if you wanted to. I usually go with offensive push and situational awareness. And then what I would do is I kind of, with the gear slot, if you wanted to do loadout, I would go with Overwatch. So that way with her 1 pip, if you are using that a little bit, you can, if you're using her a little close and you have now her 1 pip where she gains a standby, you can at least have that range 1 to 3 instead of range 1 to 2. But that's just up to you and what you would like to do. And so usually what I do is I start out with her repeater, which is range 1 to 3, 2 red, 2 white, and a black. So 5 dice at range 1 to 3 just on her alone is awesome. And not only do you get 5 dice, but you can get 8 dice at range 1 from any enemy. So 8 dice at range 1, critical 1, impact 1, and then regularly surging. She's going to be able to get some hits through. And if you were to wait to use tack strike until she is around range 1 or gets to range 1, the amount of hits and crits that you're going to be able to do on someone, because then you'll have 8 dice. You'll be able to, if you're at that close range, if you were to be able to survive and have her do that, then you would have, like I said, 8, and then you have maybe 3 tokens, 3 aim tokens, 2 from moving, 1 from offensive push. So in critical 1 already, yeah, you're going to be getting a lot through. So go with that one. And, or, if you wanted to stay in the back, and because there's maybe a force user that you're scared of, probably give her the sniper rifle, which is high velocity. So enemy units cannot spend dodge tokens, and it's Pierce 1. So Sith and other, users will be immune to Pierce, but at least they won't be able to use their dodges, and you might be able to get at least that one hit through, and it's a possibility. So that's why I think that it's fantastic to have. Now, let's go ahead and look at her entourage, basically. Let's look at the Imperial Special Forces. Now, the Inferno Squad itself, they each have 2 health each, which is fantastic. So you're going to have 6 health unit. Courage 2, surging to hit. They have reliable 1, so they're going to be able to gain a surge token for defense. So that's really, really, really good. They've got Marksman as well. They have a chance to get a free aim or dodge if they're within range 1 to 2 of Iden Versio. So there's another free chance to get a token. And then infiltrate. So they'll be able to infiltrate in with her. Now, each of them will gain a red dice for, melee. So if you have all 3 alive and you have gone into someone, you get 3 red dice. Now, there's a chance that you can put tenacity on them if you really, really wanted to get them in close and give them an extra red dice. That's just kind of up to you, but you don't need that. And then range 1 to 3, it's 2, black dice. That's only for that one person, because Del Miko's going to have 2 black dice, Gideon's going to have 2 red dice, and this person's going to have 2 black dice as well. So you're shooting basically 6 dice, which is really good, and Marksman with that. And then basically at the start, you can give yourself an aim, and then they can take an aim, and then now you have got 2 aims. Or during tac strike, you have maybe offensive push on them, and you were within range 1 or 2 of Iden. So now you've got an aim from retinue, and then you move, which gives you 2 more aims for 3 aims altogether, and then maybe you pop offensive push for 4 aims. Man, you can split fire, and with Del, you can have high velocity and lethal. So if you were to spend one of those 4 aim tokens, you can make it pierce. And so this is your second high velocity pierce gun. And he's got range 1 to 5, which is not quite 1 to infinity like Iden's sniper rifle, but it's still really, really good. 2 black, 2 health on each of them. Gideon's got 2 red, range 1 to 3, but he's got coordinate. So like I said, he's going to be able to give an order to the shores, if you have shores, if you were to give Gideon an order to give out more free tokens, which is what I think is fantastic. And your courage is increased by 1. So not only do you now have courage 2 here, but now you're going to increase it by 1 to give it courage 3. So now you've got 2 courage 3 units that are just fantastic. All right, so we go with both of those, and it's super cheap. That's 88 points, which is way cheaper than what it used to be. Now, because of free tokens, I usually put situational awareness on them because of that free dodge you can get in case they really need it. And they'll have reliable 1. So they're already going to have a surge token for that. So you can keep them alive a little bit longer, at least offensive push for sure, if you wanted to. I'm usually just conservative enough to put the situational awareness on them. Now, here's where we can have some fun. So at Gen Con, somebody had a list with 11 activations, I think, and it had, 2 sniper strike teams along with Iden and Inferno for 4 chances of high velocity. So if you're going up against pikes, they're not going to be able to use dodges. If you're going up against force users, they're not going to be able to use dodges. And all of those 4 have the ability to have pierce. Now, granted, again, you're not going to be able to use pierce against force users, but, having, the strike teams with high velocity, range 1 to 5, 2 black dice, even though they don't surge, you've got some really good chances of getting something through, especially if you can take that aim. And with that, you've got Iden and maybe 2 strike teams at 324, because that, 96 points for 2 instead of 96 for maybe 1 unit. So that's pretty cool. And then there's a lot that you can do. I mean, I've paired them up with Boba Fett. I've done shores. I've done a lot of stuff. So, but for now, let's kind of also take a look at the Imperial Death Troopers. Now, the Death Troopers, I paired with Iden Versio because if we take a look at it, and we also take a look at the Imperial Special Forces. So the Imperial Special Forces have infiltrate. So you're going to be able to move them in with Iden and the Inferno Squad and kind of keep them all together. bunched up, which is great because then that tech strike will go really, really well against whoever you're going against. And they've got reliable ones, so they're going to gain a surge for defense, and marksman, so you can dice fix with them. They've got range 1 to 3, black dice, surging to hit, fantastic, courage 2, and a black dice in, melee. And almost just as great as the, Death Troopers. You can literally put just everything that you have on the Death Troopers onto the Imperial Special Forces. Now, granted, there's 2 heavies that you can use for the Death Troopers, so we can get a lot more things done. What I did was I did the Death Troopers with the DTF 16, one, because it's not even half the price of the DLT. So now I can get a Death Trooper unit for 87 points. And with that 87 points, I can do the free config for a range 1 to 4, or at least a range 1 to 2 blast red dice on all of them, which is really good. And that's still 87 points. Now, if we were to look at, the Imperial Special Forces, and we were to go ahead and just put their T-21 Special Forces trooper guy with the 4 white critical 2, range 1 to 3, we could do that. And then give him offensive push for 99 points, which is only 5 health versus the 6 health Death Troopers, 99 points versus 87 points. The only issue, and you actually also have Compel with the DTF 16. So maybe if, the Inferno Squad was getting the crap shot out of them and they had 3 suppression, you could compel them to get moving twice. They can get 1 action, so they will be able to move and then take a suppression to do another move if they're in range 1 to 2 of the Death Troopers, allowing them to consistently get extra moves when they need to have them. So that's why I liked it, along with the 2 health. It's giving you 1 extra health more than the Imperial Special Forces. And then you're shooting for 6 dice and 5 black, 1 white versus 4 black and 4 white. So yeah, you're shooting 8 here and you're shooting 7 here, and you can dice fix. It's hard to choose, but at least one's cheaper. And this is how that's, you don't have to go with that. You can go with the Imperial Special Forces. Maybe you go with 2 of those. We've got our all of our special forces done. You don't have high velocity. You don't have pierce, but you can definitely dice fix and infiltrate. And that's pretty cool. Then maybe we go with some shore troopers and the mortar. And maybe if we did them, naked, let's see what we could do. All right, we got 10 activations. We got full, shore troopers here. How about we how about 2 E-webs? That's 6 extra points. Maybe we were to be able to get rid of something here. That's 12 activations. Even though all of this is naked, I mean, that's a lot that you can do. Maybe you took off the offensive push on both of those guys. Again, that's a lot of activations. That's 12 activations with Iden, the Inferno Squad, 2 Imperial Special Forces with the T-21. You've got 3 shores, 3 mortars, 2 E-webs. And, that can work a lot. I mean, you might not have the barrage generator or anything with the extra dice, but you've got ways of keeping your back objectives sturdy and fine. You can even move up with those. You've got mortars that can also fire support with either the E-web or the shores or the Imperial Special Forces. You've got the shore troopers who can gain a free aim if they're coordinated or if they're given an order. And since you just have Iden Versio, you'd have to be able to just take ambush and pulse scan, concussive blast. You could take incapacitate, but I'd rather give it to other people. So I'd rather take push and then coordinated fire to be able to give all 3 of your shore troopers an aim. And instead of coordinating to the mortars, you might be able to coordinate to an E-web with maybe 2 of them. And then maybe the 3rd shore trooper that you give an order to, you can give out to the mortar. And then every time, you do that, you can spin an aim with the core, or maybe you just give it to all the cores. So that way you have everything else in the bag. It's just kind of up to you on what you would like to do with that one. But that's just a way to get 12 activations with Iden Versio. Now, I like Iden as well with, Boba Fett. We'll go ahead and just I'll look through and show you guys some of the things that I've done with Iden and kind of explain it. So I've done Iden with, let's do the pikes, okay? right here. So I have Iden Versio with Inferno Squad and the Imperial Special Forces with offensive push and a strike team. Okay. And with that strike team, I got high velocity at least on 3 units and Pierce on 3 units. I've got 6 core. They all have the heavy. One's got a medical droid. And then I've got pikes. Everything in this list is a minimum of range 4, heavy wise, at least. Everything can get in. The pike, Capo can't really do anything. The Imperial Special Forces right here really can't do anything. And the Iden Versio, but your Inferno Squad, your strike team, and all of your core are range 4 more. And so if you wanted to stay in the back, you could stay in the back and just do what you can with impact 1, critical 1, with the dice that you're rolling. That's 3 dice at range 4, 4 dice at range 4, 3 dice at range 4, 2 dice at range 5 on multiple stuff. Here you can be a range 5 or infinity, range 1 to infinity instead of just range 3. So there's lots of ways to do super long range with that list. And then maybe instead of just going full Iden and core, maybe you decided to go with the villain list, which is basically Iden, the Inferno Squad with situational awareness, 2 strike teams. So now you've got, again, 4 possible units with high velocity with Iden's sniper rifle every time I say that. And Pierce. You also have Boba Fett with Pierce, Bosk with Pierce. So you've got 6 activations out of 11 with Pierce, which is fantastic. And then you don't have to have prepared supplies. Maybe you wanted instead to have comms relay. And, you've got your 2 shores, 2 mortars, your Imperial officer who can kind of connect or kind of help everyone with underworld connections. And then, Boba Fett and Bosk doing their double bounty thing while you have Iden Versio Inferno Squad and the strike team going after maybe Jedi or anyone that's got tons of dodges. That's a really good idea. And again, she's range 1 to infinity. He's range 1 to 5. These guys are range 1 to 5. So they don't need to be near the very, very front. Boba Fett can kind of go in. Bosk is range 1 to 4 or 2 to 4. So he's going to be able to stay along far away. And these guys can go in and kind of do what they need to do. And it won Gen Con. So I think that this list is, pretty fantastic and pretty hardcore. So, I would give it a shot. That's double bounty with Iden. So you have mainly like 3 hardcore threats, but technically 4 because the Inferno Squad is a really good threat in themselves with 6 health, in dice fixing. That's a lot to have to deal with. And then again, if you wanted to, this is the list that I again went with, and it was with Callus. So the reason I went with Callus was because his command cards and because of contingencies. I went with Callus, Iden Versio, the Inferno Squad, Death Troopers, Boba Fett, and then a strike team and some shores. Now, what I was doing, I was putting recon intel so I can kind of get the shores and the mortars a little bit closer to either objectives and or the enemy to kind of go after them. Recon intel on Boba Fett to kind of get him closer to the bounty and or objectives. And then I was using the strike team, Inferno Squad, and Iden Versio to kind of go after, some hard hitting stuff. Death Troopers would go in after some hard hitting stuff, and Agent Callus would be there to have contingencies and to improvise orders and to make sure that if there's a melee threat, he can tie them up or he can do whatever he needs to while Iden Versio, the Inferno Squad, Boba Fett kind of do their own thing and get done what needs to get done. Now, again, I did the Death Troopers because of surging to defense, because of their range 1 to 4, because of the suppression, because they, are cheaper than the Inferno or the Imperial Special Forces. And then I always have Boba Fett in there because I love Boba Fett and the bounty. And this is 10 activations. And again, with the orders, you can bring so much, especially since Iden and Boba Fett have some good command cards. I went with ISB investigation for sure. So I could kind of disrupt the plans that they would have on another turn. And then I'd have Face Me, which you could burn for Whipcord Launcher, or Ruthless Tactics, which you can burn for Jetpack Rocket in case you needed some anti-armor stuff. But, all of these for Callus are also fantastic. So I think I might wind up playing that again at some point with that list. If not, I'll probably come up with another one and another one with Boba. So also, if you like Iden and an ATST, this is a good one because you got your high velocity again, possibly on 4 units, at least 3. And so your Jedis and or Sith are taken care of. All of your dodge units are taken care of. And you've got the ATST with either the mortar launcher, or technically instead of the mortar launcher, you could just give it the link targeting array and get rid of that one. Or if you wanted to, you can technically get rid of situational awareness on the Inferno Squad and have them all on the ATST. You've got Veers kind of in the back, and then you've got some comm techs and HQ uplink on the shores to give them a free aim and an extra black dice at that range 1 to 3. Plus, with Imperial Discipline, you can give an order to Veers and 2 shores, which will give them the ability to recover, also kind of giving them an aim and giving out orders to your mortars, and leaving the ATST and your strike teams and or special forces and your commanders in the pile without even have, which is pretty good. And yeah, you don't have to have, comms technician on them. If you wanted to take those off and do anything else and give, Iden HQ uplink, if you wanted to have Veers, do whatever else. If maybe you wanted to have aggressive tactics on there, you could. Maybe, just give them the regular guy, the regular shore trooper extra, and then you could give them targeting scopes. That way, when they do either get that free aim or whatever they need, they can, spend that to reroll 3. You could use that free recover for Iden Versio with, ID10 and HQ uplink. That way she gets 2 chances to recover. I mean, yeah, 10 activation still, and you have the ATST blasting through people and doing the best that it can for either anti-armor or, against whoever else is there. And, or, the other one that I had was, Iden and some pikes again, and where they're, super heavy core. But this is with just 11 activations. You've got the Imperial Special Forces, the T-21 with offensive push. You've got, the Inferno Squad. You've got offensive push Overwatch here. You don't have situational awareness on her there, but you've got, a shore trooper with the T-21 Electro Whip and, the P-13 improvised orders over here. Again, the one that I did earlier with the 12 activations, even though it's a little bit, not so heavy in the unit, the things that are in the unit, you have a 12 unit list. So I like that one, and I think that one would be perfect, but that's just kind of up to you guys and how you want to play Iden. Again, I just think Iden is perfect. The fact that she can, you can have tenacity on her to have her have 3 red, 3 white in melee if ID10 is still there. You can have offensive push and situational awareness to keep her on. You can keep her on the board a lot longer and give her that free aim. And then definitely take her repeater or her sniper rifle with her no matter what. You don't have to have ID10, but it does help if you do have ID10. If you don't take ID10, I would highly recommend probably taking situational awareness to keep her alive a little bit longer. But, if you don't have the points, you don't have the points. All right, so let's go ahead and go over her command cards. So sorry, I had to re-upload this video and edit this in there because I cannot believe I forgot to talk about her command cards. So let's go ahead and do that. So with Iden's 1-pip, super fantastic. It gives her Sharpshooter 2 and a name token. At the end of her activation, she gains dodge and standby. So if she's very close, then you get the chance to basically make 2 attacks with her. So it's another great card that kind of gives another way to attack with someone else, as long as they don't get that suppression. So if they can make sure she's close to somebody, or at least if she has Overwatch, she's at range 1 to 3, where she can take advantage of that standby. It's not that you're wasting this card if you don't use it, because obviously if you need her to go first, you can use this command card. Go ahead and get her that Sharpshooter 2, get that, ranged shot at them with that 2 aims and a dodge, and then skedaddle so that you have 2 dodges and you're really just trying to get away and don't need the standby, then that's fine. I mean, this is just a great way to give her some tokens and to just kind of do what she needs to do, either run or attack as much as she can. Just kind of depends on when you're using it. Now, this is really cool because now ID10 gets a command card if you bring it. So sometimes people might not bring ID10. This card is a very situational card, and it's very hard to use. And if you want to keep it in your hand, so say that you're only taking her, maybe you do want to keep it because you're trying to get, you know, her in as fast as possible. And maybe you've decided to kind of use a few of the extra pikes, or maybe you have another commander or something like that. This command card, so during Iden's activation, you can choose an enemy trooper unit at range 1 and in line of sight of ID 10. Okay. And then that unit will gain 3 suppression tokens. If it's a core unit, now this is separate. So no matter who you do it to, besides a vehicle, anything that can take suppression, they will gain 3 suppression no matter what. But if it's a core unit, they will go ahead. If they have not activated, you'll assign a face down order token from the order pool. Or if they do have a token, you're just going to go ahead and flip it face down. So it basically incapacitates the unit. So that unit is no longer able to do anything if it's a core unit. Now, if it's just a special forces, an operative, or a commander, it's going to gain 3 suppression. And then you're probably going to be able to fire at them, which will be able to, especially if it's at range 1, you're going to be able to fire with ID 10. So you're going to be able to get those 8 dice attacking whoever you're attacking up close, and then they're going to have 3 suppression. They're going to gain that light cover if you do attack them, but at the same time, maybe they have a standby, and maybe you go ahead and give them the suppression before they can use that standby, because this is during Iden's activation. You can choose an enemy trooper unit at range 1 and in line of sight, and that unit gains 3 suppressions. That's before you do anything. So before you do anything, give them that suppression, the standby goes away, and then you can, go ham or do what you need to do. Not that there would probably be a standby, but if it's the free standby from, echo-based defenders where all the emplacement troopers get a free standby, maybe if you're going up against a heavily fortified core unit list, then this card would be impeccable. This card would be, well, sorry, that's probably the wrong word. Imperative. Yeah. So this card would be great to have, because then you're negating the effect of that entire core trooper unit. So if, for example, and last one, if you were to just go up against echo-based defenders and you were against a Mark II and you were really close to them, and at the beginning of the command card turn phase, the activation phase, basically, they're going to be able to all get their standbys and an aim. But as soon as you lay, this down and you're able to go first, because that's a 3-pip, this is a 2-pip, you're going to be able to go ahead and knock off that standby off of one of them, go ahead and, incapacitate them, and then maybe go after another core unit. That's possible, but that's why her incapacitate is really, really good, but it's just really situational. If you're in just a tight situation around core, it's good to have, but you don't know if you're going to, have that. Concussive Blast, fantastic. I love this card. So Iden Versio, when she activates, she recovers. So this is before the rally step. So this, again, happened to me by example. I was against the Blizzard Force, and they had stacked a ton of suppression on her. I think they had stacked up to 5, maybe 6. I can't quite remember, but they laid down the 1-pip where I can't remove more than 1 suppression during my rally step. But this is before she rallies. She's going to recover. So she was able to take all that off, regain the shield token that she had, and then able to use this weapon for scatter, blast, and suppressive, and then move. So this is a really, really good card, because if you were to give her the sniper rifle, that's still only 2 dice that she's really getting to shoot. And if maybe she was in a situation where you weren't that far back and you were still in the middle of things or around things and people were coming at you, then this card would allow you to, use 5 red dice to shoot at someone range 1 to 2, surging to hit, blast, so no cover. So this is the second card where she gains basically sharpshooter 2 in a way. So in my opinion, she's a little better than Boba, with the fact that she does have that the 2 command cards that allow her to have the sharpshooter, and she does have marksman. So it's not that she doesn't have pierce, but there's a tit for tat between Iden and Boba and how much I really think that they're super effective. But I think I love Iden more. And so yeah, that's her 2-pip, allowing her to recover and gain her shield back, take off all the suppression, and gain an extra weapon just in case you do have just the DLT and you're in a tight situation, in a close range situation. That's the best one to have. And then obviously she is just been famous for tactical strike. So when Iden Versio or a friendly special forces unit that has a face-up order token activates, it may reduce its maximum speed to 1, and if it does, it gains steady and tactical 1. So there's really a few things I want to talk about this card. One, it gives Iden Versio and 3 trooper units the orders. Okay, so you're going to be able to give all of your special forces orders and Iden Versio. If you are bringing her in a list that might not have 3 special forces because maybe you wanted to bring other things, then you can give the orders to other people, but it's still a 3-pip with Iden that gives out more than just 3 orders. It gives out 4 orders technically, and all the other 3-pips only give out 3. So maybe, yeah, if you just wanted to bring her as a, operative that just wanted to go ham on something, then yeah, that's perfectly fine to do. And I think that, if you do bring special forces units, no matter what special forces unit you bring, you're going to be able to reduce your speed to 1 and gain steady and tactical 1. So whatever, the scout troopers, strike teams, the IRG, Imperial, special forces, Inferno squad, and the death troopers all can do it no matter who you do. So that's a really wonderful thing about her 3-pip. Now, that's really it. And sorry, guys, I had to re-upload the video, but hopefully you got the command cards and kind of a gist, and it kind of helped a little bit. But this is kind of more for future references as well, and I don't want to have to upload too many videos. And yeah, so thanks for bearing with me. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below with things that you like. And yeah, go ahead, still head to the Discord and check everything out. Go ahead and, feel free to put in whatever you want to put in. Head to theburnacademy.com for those 12-week hypertrophy weight loss programs, corrective exercise program, my personal workouts, and more. That way, if you're ever at a gym or you're ever out of town, you're ever at home, you have workouts. It'll help with everything. Workouts have been proven and shown to improve, depression and or any kind of, mental state / help improve confidence and help improve, overall health to where you feel better, stronger. And I've been training for over 10 years. So if you want, I'll be adding to it more. So go ahead and check it out. Go ahead, subscribe. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think about Iden and maybe some lists that you had, maybe something that you were impressed about. I'm probably not going to, I might leave like 1 or 2, 3 lists down below, but there's so many different ways to play Iden. And there's so many different lists in here that I just kind of went over that you can just kind of pick and choose what you like. And yeah. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. If you have a person that you want me to break down or look at and kind of go over some example lists with, feel free. Go ahead and go ahead and comment down below. You can find me on Instagram at ShadowScout0013. And yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys later, and may the force be with you.